podcast. November 28th be the date, and we cheer to each and every one of you. Davey Longwood, Hellfire Henley, welcome back to the captain's quarters. It's time to have us a good show. What do you say, mates?
All right, Captain.
Oh, cheers, Captain.
Good. I'm drinking out of a brand new glass, ladies and gentlemen. That brand new glass was a gift from somebody given to me as a Christmas present, and there it is. So, first thing first, as we always like to do, let's tell you how to find us. Go to Captain's Quarters Podcast on YouTube and check that button, check that like, check that follow, and you'll be a part of our show every week. Getting a reminder, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yep, that's Max trying to remind me to make sure you all know. The bell. That's what it is, the bell. So we do want to make sure that happens. We want you to follow us because every time we move one more week into the future, we have new and upcoming things. Guests, ideas. We're even doing a contest on tonight's show. So ladies and gentlemen, like us, follow us, get involved. It's a lot of fun. And we'll take your opinions and your ideas for what we can do to make the show. So go to YouTube, put in Captain's Quarters Podcast, and there we are. And we hope that you'll follow us. Thank you for that. All right. So let's see. If I were to look at my script, we next do what we like to now call 8 Bells. This is where we honor celebrities that have passed on in the past week from last show. So ladies and gentlemen, the only one we really have is Irene Cara. Most of you might remember her from Fame and Flashdance. Very, very important. She was only 63 years old, ladies and gentlemen, when she passed away this past weekend. She is very famous for Fame and What a Feeling from Flashdance. So, ladies and gentlemen, we give her 8 bells. Toast. Very good, very good. As always, Mr. Longwood has the quote of the week. Let's see what we got this week. Watch the little things. A small leak will sink a great ship. That is absolutely true. If you waste your time worrying about the little things, the great things may just sink away from you. That's a good one by Benjamin Franklin. Good job there, Mr. Longwood. And of course, question of the week. Now, before he pops it up there, I just want to give it a little bit of a extra play. Many of you have made comments about talking about Christmas before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving. Many of us are pretty upset, or at least dismayed, that they start selling Christmas stuff in October now. It's just ridiculous. I remember when I was a boy, you didn't see anything about Christmas until right around Thanksgiving. Which brings me to real or fake. Do you want real tree in your house or a fake tree in your house? We have fake trees in our house. Nothing like a live tree, but the expenses of a live tree can be mounting, especially in the way things are right now in the world. And there's so many options of fake trees now. As you can see, I have one right here. This is my fake pirate tree. It's got all kinds of pirate decorations on it. And we have another one in the other room, and we have a third one that'll be set up near the bar of my pirate room. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, fake trees. But we'd like to hear from you, so we'll find out. On that note, Crew Adventures. We've updated it a little bit because we're running down to the end of the wire on the end of the year, and all we have left is December 3rd, which is next Saturday. You'll find Santa Claus out there for the Christmas tree illumination. It's every year. This will be the 7th year Santa has been involved with it. And also the Ancient City Sirens will be out there. I believe they're going to have their ship, and they'll be collecting toys through the evening to hand over to the foster program here in St. Johns County, is what we're told. And then on the 16th, a Friday evening, the St. Augustine Sirens, the Ancient City Sirens, I'm the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. Ancient City Sirens is hosting a gala on the 16th, a holiday gala. I unfortunately will not be able to attend. I have a prior engagement, but I know many of the crew of the Swashbucklers will be going and supporting them. I heard that there are not many tickets left, which is a very good thing. Of course, that little ship you see there is our symbol for our toy drive. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers are into their 13th annual toy drive right now, collecting toys and money to help out some needy families. Pardon me. And of course, January 2023, the very last weekend, and I just had a short conversation with Tom Mason and the Blue Buccaneers, and he will be getting with me in the next 2 days to do the finality of him being here or not. We're also working with Rusty Cutlass, and we have Firewater Tent Revival. 3 bands in one weekend for January 2023 for the Old City Pirate Fest. And that's what we have coming up in our future. Now, I did forget this, and Mr. Longwood, it's a good thing he's the ship's navigator. He gave me a reminder of this. I thought we had no update for after events. But I was corrected, because we had an event last Monday night when we did a live broadcast from Dick's Wings. Now, granted, it was only a 48-minute show, but we were there for over 2 hours. And we had some raffles going on, some 50-50 going on, and we had special guests. We gave a $1,000 check from the St. Augustine Swashbucklers to Inc., Investing in Kids. We gave a $1,000 check to St. Augustine Youth Services. And we gave a $500 check to the Humane Society. And this past week, we went ahead, well, it was last week we did it, we went ahead and dropped off about 100 pounds of food that we had collected also. So, we did real well with giving away our money. It worked out well. We still have money in the kitty, in our charity account. We still have money, and we will be helping out some families for Christmas. If you hear that noise, it means that my dog has gotten a burst of energy and has decided to run through the house. On that note, one thing I want to say, let's do the pictures first, then I'll say something. There's some of our crew members joining us there. Very good. That is the representative from Inc. to collect her check. And no, she's not that short and I'm not that tall. I just stood up on a chair so the entire restaurant could see and hear what was going on. And we gave her a $1,000 check. And the restaurant was full, ladies and gentlemen, not just pirates. But there were a lot of other people that came and supported our event. It was a lot of fun. There's some of our pirates right there, standing off to the side, guarding our raffle table. Right there. And you can see we were on the big screen in behind. And there is the Captain's Quarters Podcast studio booth in Dick's Wings. And Mr. Longwood doing what he does best, navigating the show and the evening. Very good. And there's me standing on a chair again, talking and giving out a check to the representative, Lynn, from the Humane Society. They also had a cat there that had been left on their doorstep at the Humane Society about 5 or 6 weeks ago in very, very bad shape. They brought that cat back to health and found somebody that wanted to give it a forever home, and so they presented the cat there that night at our event. That little kitten now has a better place to live and will be treated much, much better than he was before. So that was a good thing for the evening, too. Another shot of all of our pirates there. Very good. And that's our show. Well, that was our show last week. Yes. And we did well. Let me say one more thing. The charity fund that the St. Augustine Swashbucklers maintains through the entire year, that they build up and build up and build up with every event, still has about $2,900 in it. And we have 3 families so far that we are going to help out with toys and a little bit of financial help. If you know of a family that is in dire needs, because there's a lot of us that are, please let us know. We'd like to put at least 2 to 4 more families on our list to help them out. So please do let us know, and you can send a message to us via our email, or you know how to get in touch with many of us via our Facebook pages. So please do let us know if you know of anybody. We'll be helping them out if we can. Thank you very much. On that note, we don't have a special guest tonight. We were supposed to have a special guest tonight, a good friend, a new friend of mine. He's a professional magician from Canada, but now lives in St. Augustine, Bill Abbott, and he was supposed to be here tonight, but last week he gave me a call and said that he got a last-minute booking for something out of state, and he had to take that, obviously. You can't ask somebody to go do something for free when they have a paid event they need to go do. And he's quite popular around the country, so we'll have him back on later on, probably in January. So, on that note, we're going to talk about the history and the origins of Christmas. Now, I'm going to give a quick, what's the word I want to use here? I can't think of the word I want to use. I'm just going to give a quick statement. We realize that there may be some people that will disagree with some of the things we say tonight, because some people believe that Christmas is truly, completely a Christian holiday, when in actuality, some of the origins are not. So, we're giving you information that both Mr. Longwood is taking from the History Channel, and I am taking from the Britannica Channel. Information that we would like to share. I believe it would be best to start off, Mr. Longwood, with your video about Christmas. What do you say?
Hi, Captain.
I hear it, but I don't see it.
Celebrating light and
there it is.
In the darkest days of winter, centuries before Jesus walked the earth. In the Norse country, this winter celebration was known as Yule. Around December 21st, the winter solstice, fathers and sons dragged evergreens indoors as reminders of life and set logs on fire as a promise of good fortune. Ancient Rome had its own December festivals. 1 week before the winter solstice, Romans began celebrating Saturnalia, an orgy of food and drink in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture. Some Romans, particularly soldiers and government officials, also worshipped Mithra, the sun god. It is believed that to this small but powerful sect, the birthday of Mithra, December 25th, was the holiest day of the year. By the 1st century AD, pagan traditions were being challenged as Christianity took hold throughout the empire. But Christ's birth date remained a mystery, since the Bible doesn't mention exactly when he was born. Since pagan Rome already celebrated the birth of Mithra on December 25th, it is theorized the church adopted the date as the birth of the Christ child. In the 4th century, the church made it official, declaring December 25th as the feast day of the Nativity. The church knew it could not outlaw the pagan traditions of Christmas, so it came to accept them. The evergreens traditionally brought indoors were decorated with apples, symbolizing the Garden of Eden. These apples would eventually become Christmas ornaments. The story of Santa Claus also begins in the 4th century with the death of Nicholas, a beloved Turkish bishop. The anniversary of his death became known as St. Nicholas Day. On December 6th, good children woke to gifts from the kindly saint. Bad children sulked away with nothing. In Holland, he was known as Sinterklaas. 1,500 years later in America, a seminary professor named Clement Clark Moore reimagined the legend of St. Nicholas. In 1822, Moore wrote a poem called The Night Before Christmas about a good-natured saint named Santa Claus, who was pulled by a group of reindeer and came down the chimney on Christmas Eve. Like St. Nicholas, Santa Claus spread good cheer and gave gifts to children. Less clear was exactly what this Santa Claus looked like. Then in 1863, Thomas Nast, a cartoonist for Harper's Weekly, settled the matter once and for all with his version of the Christmas Saint. Nast's Santa was rotund and jolly, with a full white beard and a sack full of toys. An American icon was born.
Very good, Mr. Longwood. Very good. I even learned a couple of other things, too, that I'd like to share with everybody. Let's see if I can find it again. It was very, very interesting. A second view suggests that December 25th became the date of Jesus' birth by priori reasoning that identified the spring equinox as the date of the creation of the world and the fourth day of creation, when the light was created, as the day of Jesus' conception in March. And 9 months later, December 25th, the date of his birth. I had never heard that before. And these are interesting points in history that we share with you. There are so many different versions of Santa Claus that there has to be many different versions of Christmas. December 25th. For a long time, the celebration of Jesus' birth was observed in conjunction with his baptism, which was actually January 6th. But that changed also. Christmas began to be widely celebrated with specific liturgy in the 9th century, but did not attain the liturgical importance of either Good Friday or Easter, the other two major holidays of Christmas. Roman Catholic churches celebrated the first Christmas Mass at midnight, whereas Protestant churches increasingly held theirs on candlelight vigils on the night before, on Christmas Eve. And they would sing scriptures and songs and carols. Then contemporary customs in the West became part of it. So there are as many other things. The Advent wreath made of fir branches. You just saw that was paganistic at times. The fir wreath with 24 candles, 24 days before Christmas, starting December 1st. But the awkwardness of having so many candles on a wreath reduced the number to 4. Why? Well, which provides 24 openings, one to be opened each day. That's the gifts. But there are so many different things about Christmas. So before we go too much further, let's see how many people are paying attention and can tell us one interesting point, and we'll look at all of our watchers. Somebody give us another interesting point as we read through some of these others. Don't make us be the ones telling you everything. Let's have a joint conversation tonight and see what we have here. We have at least 15 or 20 watchers right now. We have several on Facebook also. So let's see what we've got. Davey, you see anything interesting popping up?
A lot of them have just been answering the earlier question.
The tree. What's the verdict? Is it live or fake?
Mostly artificial.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial. So here's one you won't see this Santa doing in Australia, where people attend open-air concerts of Christmas carols and have their Christmas dinner on the beach. Santa Claus wears red swimming suit, as well as a white beard. No. I can say that right away. No. Some very interesting things about Christmas that we were finding out. In most European countries, gifts are exchanged on Christmas Eve, December 24th, in keeping with the notion that the baby Jesus was born on the night of the 24th, the morning of the 25th. However, this has become the time for the exchange of gifts in North America. 17th and 18th century Europe, the modest exchange of gifts took place in the early hours of the 25th, when the family returned home from the Christmas Mass. I can remember when we were children and we were raised Lutheran, that we could get up in the morning and we were allowed to touch and or see only the toys that Santa had left for us. And then we had to go to church, and then we would come home and we could open up all the rest of the presents that were under the tree and have a midday meal. Roy Holler says, I remember Christmas trees were not a thing here in America until the late 1700s. I believe I saw that also. C. Even the evening of the 24th became the time for the exchange of gifts. The Christmas Mass was set into the late afternoon for that day. In North America, the centrality of the morning of the 25th of December as the time for the family to open presents has led, with the exception of Catholic and some Lutheran and Episcopal churches, to the virtual end of holding church services on that day. a striking illustration of the way societal customs influence religious practices. Given the importance of Christmas as one of the major Christian feast days, most European countries observe, under Christian influence, December 26th as a second Christmas holiday. This practice recalls the ancient Christian religious notion that celebration of Christmas, as well as the Easter and the Pentecost, should last the entire week. The week-long observance, however, was successfully reduced to Christmas Day and a single additional day on the 26th. So you see, there is, and it could go by the Julian calendar or the Gregorian calendar or the Oriental calendar. So there's so many things that influence the way Christmas is, but Christmas is probably the one holiday that is celebrated across the world in all countries with variations of how they celebrate. Completely unlike Valentine's Day, or what has become hugely popular is Halloween, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Those are American traditions. So you see, Christmas is a worldwide practice, celebration, and phenomenon. Anything you want to add to it there, Mr. Longwood? And or Mr. Henley? I have some very fond memories of, and they've come in more lately, but our mom had many stories of how Santa decorated the tree and brought gifts on Christmas Eve. Could you imagine having to do that? Yes, I remember her telling us that there was nothing there, and Santa brought the tree, the decorations, and the presents, so that when she woke up as a little girl the next morning, everything was there. What a chore that would be for all the parent Santas around the world, right? So, one of my favorite remembrances was when we were first or second grade, and we were living in Abilene, Texas, and Dad was not overseas. He had pulled many tours during the Vietnam War, but this is one of the years he was not. And we got, and I do not remember the name of them, but there were these large army guns. Of course, back then it was okay for children to play cowboys and Indians or war or whatever else, but there were these large army guns that we got that could do everything. They would shoot bullets, they would shoot missiles, they would do everything. They had sound effects, and we got a pair of those. I believe it was a pair of them, and there was at one point in time, it's probably no longer in existence, there was a small reel-to-reel of sound of Dad and Dell and I having a all-out battle with those guns on Christmas Day, and I do remember that. I have no idea where that tape is. None whatsoever. Ransom, if you remember that, it was a good time. Aye. So, give me one of your favorite memories of Christmas, Hellfire. I mean, you're not that old, so you shouldn't have a hard time remembering at least one.
Well, you put me on the spot now. I gotta try to remember.
Davey, you got one?
Well, growing up, we always had a live tree, and we'd always go out into the countryside, and we had to cut down the tree and then bring it back.
That's
it was only as we got older here, we have an artificial one. We've had it for quite a long time, but I used to always love a live tree, and I remember going out and having to cut down.
We have relatives in New Hampshire that have a Christmas tree farm, believe it or not, on my mother's side of the family. We're not very close with them. So I don't see anything. Dang, Roy, how old are you? I just caught that one. Very good. Very good. So Christmas is just a great time of year. It's become very commercialized, and it is a booming business for retail stores. But you need to remember that all the money and all the gifts don't make what is important for a family. Zachary Harper says, then a part of my German family hid a pickle on the tree. Now we have a fake one we hide on the tree. Now, what was the purpose of hiding a pickle? Wow. How about that? Very good. So, a couple of questions that popped up on the Britannica. Did Christmas start in Germany? Christmas did not start in Germany, but many of the holiday traditions began there, including decorating trees. The celebration of Christmas started in Rome about 336, but did not become a major Christian festival until the 9th century. So Ransom Mayhem made a comment about that it goes all the way back to the birth of Jesus, and that's not actually really true. The Romans were celebrating it in a very different way, and it wasn't until the 9th century that Christians finally, which would be the 800s, that Christians finally started to have a control over how Christmas would come about. 800 years after the death of Christ. So, let's see if there's anything contemporary customs in other areas. Here you go. This is the one. How did the Christmas tree start? Christmas has numerous traditions, of which perhaps none is more popular than a decorated tree. Whether real or artificial, Christmas trees are synonymous with the holiday, but how did trees become part of Christmas? Trees have been used in rituals as decorations since ancient time, thus making the source of the modern Christmas tree open to debate. However, many believe that it originated in Germany. It claimed that in Germany, about 723, the English missionary Saint Boniface encountered pagans preparing a sacrifice at an oak tree dedicated to the god Thor. Boniface took an axe to the tree, and when not struck down by their god, he proclaimed to the awed pagans that a nearby evergreen was their holy tree. Other sources report that a fir grew on the site of the fallen oak. So, that's all about the tree. Let's see what else is here that might become interesting. Let's see. Was Santa Claus a real person? Well, that was in his notes right there. For many children live in the United States, especially those who have behaved well all year, the most exciting part of Christmas is the discovery of wrapped packages tucked away under the trees and sweet hidden in stockings hung by the fireplace. Kids are often told that the gifts were left by Santa Claus during his annual nocturnal journey around the world in a sleigh pulled by 9 flying reindeer. 9? Oh, that would be Rudolph. How have so many people agreed on this story? So, there is the story of the night before Christmas that came about, which was in David Longwood's video. But Coca-Cola really was a big part of that in the mid-20th century, in the mid-1900s, when Coca-Cola started using a red-capped Santa Claus that Americans would soon recognize all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you my favorite story of being Santa. I don't believe we have any ears on here that'll have to worry about it. But this was at the tree lighting of the St. Augustine Beach, and this was the year before COVID, I believe. And a little boy about 5 or 6 years old sat with me and told me what he wanted and had a good time with me, and then ran off to his parents. But then turned around and came running back and jumped up into my lap again and whispered in my ear, "You sound just like Captain Mayhem." And then jumped down and ran off again. All I could do was, "Ho, ho, 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 ho." And he ran off. That's one of my favorite memories of being Santa Claus. I truly enjoy it. So, on that note, is there anything else we want to talk about with Christmas, the night before Christmas? Now, we are talking, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, in fact, I put them out here so I could remember, we are talking about Captain Mayhem doing a recording of at least 2 books, The Pirate's 12 Days of Christmas and A Pirate's Night Before Christmas. We're thinking about recording these, and then on December 26th, which is a Monday, when Davey and Henley and Mayhem, all 3 of us, we may have other things going on because it's the day after Christmas. So we're thinking about doing these. and there'll be recorded versions put in place of our Monday night show that evening. We hope that you'll be able to watch it and share it with your kids. Captain Mayhem will be sitting here reading stories. We're working on the details now, and if it goes well, we have plans to do some other books also. For now, though, I believe it's time to get back to our script. What do you say, Mr. Longwood?
Aye, Captain.
So, we played the video. We've talked about Christmas. We do have something of great importance to take care of now, and that would be our raffle. We made promises given to us by the sketchy guy out of Nevada. He told us on the show that he was with us, and I believe that show was in October, the first part of October. He told us we only had at that point in time 6 Patreon sponsors. And he told us if we made it to 10, we could put all the names in a hat, pull one name, and he would do a artist rendering of them in cartoon fashion like the rest of us. If you can find a quick one of at least one or two of us there, Davey, pop them up on the screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, not only did we make it to 10, we made it to 12. And he would do some kind of an artist rendering, and there's Hellfire Henley, there's Davey Longwood, and there's William Mayhem. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 12 people, and we're going to pull one name. Actually, we're not going to pull one name at all. I came up with an idea on how to do this. I have all 12 names on this clipboard, and there are 12 pirate flags right there. What we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is make a call out. We've got all these different watchers here, and I'm going to call one name. When I call your name, mention one flag. Just pick one flag. That flag will be eliminated. All the flags I put on a list, and you can't see it because Davey's got the sign up. I put on a list on my clipboard. Each name, each one of the 12 names, corresponds to one of the 12 flags. But nobody ever knows who it is, except for me. And what we'll do is we'll eliminate 11 flags, and the 12th man standing will be the winner of that cartoon character. So, all we have to do now is pick some people. So I'm going to start at the very top of the list on our comments and ask Ken Smith. No, wait a minute. Zachary Harker. Zachary Harker, please choose one flag. Davey, you be watching so I can just make the marks. Choose one flag. Has he made his choice?
No.
All right. We're going to go down the list while Zachary is still deciding. Ken Smith, you will be picking a flag also. And we'll go with Jonathan Miller. You will pick a flag also. That's 3 flags we need to eliminate right now. Come on down.
Ken
Give
Smith
me 3
said
flags
Henry
to eliminate.
Avery.
What do we got?
Henry Avery.
Henry Avery. Gone. That's 1. Jonathan Miller, Ken Smith. Wait, Ken gave me 1. Jonathan Miller and Zachary Harker. Give me a flag to remove. Rackham. Rackham is removed. Henry Avery is removed. Jonathan Miller, give me another one. Anytime now, while we're waiting, I'm going to throw out another name there. Let's see. Ransom Mayhem. Edward Teach. Very good. Ransom Mayhem, pick one. Roy Holler, pick one. Sindra Bond, pick one. That's 3 more to be eliminated off those 3 names. If you're this also gives us a chance to see who's actually paying attention. Aye. Did I see? Let's see. Ransom Mayhem picked Roberts. Very good. Roberts is eliminated. Roy Holler picks Bonnet. Eliminated. Sindra Bond, if you're paying attention, pick a name, pick a flag. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while we're waiting for this one to be picked, I want you to know that Davey Longwood and I did a whole lot of thinking, and we're hoping to use this idea in the future, and we're going to automate it. We're not sure how yet. We're still learning, but we'll see what happens. Sindra Bond. I see a couple of Facebook users here, but I don't know their names. Mr. Henley, can you tell me who the Facebook users are?
All right, we have, let's see, Roy. We have Sherry.
Who?
Sindra, Sherry Verfin.
Sindra picked the red one, which is Moody. Very good. She had to be different. Very good. We've now eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 5 more to go. So, any Facebook user, pop a name up there.
We also have Grace St. Clair.
Ah, Grace. You're watching via Facebook? Choose a flag. And Henley, you don't know what the list looks like, so you choose a flag.
Somebody said Bart Roberts.
Yes, Grace.
Bart
chose
Roberts,
Bart.
very good. Roberts, Bart.
Let's see.
And
I will
since somebody already
choose-
said Roberts, there are 2 Roberts. Yes, Roberts top middle. And there is a second Roberts, and it is right third down. So I'm eliminating both Roberts since they've been picked. All right.
I will choose Emmanuel Wynn.
Who?
The bottom right corner, Emmanuel Wynn.
All right, it is. Win is gone. We now have only 4 left. We must eliminate those 3 of the 4. The ones that are left are England, Worley, Lowe, and Kennedy. Do we have anybody else that is not picked? Jump up and say something if you haven't picked. Is Melinda on there? Nightingale? I didn't see her. Is she on?
She was earlier.
If Nightingale is there, please pick. I don't see Will the Historian on tonight either. We only have 3 we have to remove. I'm not allowed to pick because I can see the list. Lauren McRae. Oh, look! My daughter-in-law. Very good. Lauren McRae picked Lowe. Very good. Lowe is eliminated. We now have 3 left. Nightingale, you're here. You have a choice. England, Worley, or Kennedy? Boy, it sure got quiet, didn't it? It must be the excitement and the tension. And she removes Kennedy. That leaves us with 2 more. Lauren, is my son there also with you? If he is, he can make the last choice. England or Worley? And Davey can't make the choice either because guess what? He's the only other one that's seen the list. Because him and I had to come up with the idea. So we're left with 2, England and Worley. Is there anybody going to make the choice for me? Anybody at all? Uh-oh, he's working a wrestling match tonight, but I'm sure he will listen to the replay. All right, very good. Well, thank you, Lauren, for tuning in. Aye, and Cinderbond picks England. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is official. The winner of the art drawing is actually Earl Saul. from here in St. Augustine, Florida. He was actually kind of a big winner at our raffles the other night, too.
Yep.
So, Earl, if you're watching, great. If you're not, maybe I'll give it to somebody else. Ladies and gentlemen, there's the list so everybody can see how we did. And what we will do is we will post that list with my markings on it so everybody knows that we're trying to do this as above board as totally possible. If you think this was a really good idea, say yay or nay, because I think it worked out well, and it may be a consideration for us to do some other fun giveaways in the new year. So please join us if you will. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, let me put that screen back to the other screen. I see a yay already. Very good. And while we're getting some yays and some nays, Mr. Longwood loves those jib jabs, I can tell you. That's not the only Christmas one you've done, is it?
No, but you and I went to Vegas.
I hope I was successful on the blackjack tables. Aye. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to that point in the show where it is time for This Week in History, which is done very well by Mr. Longwood every week, and I'm sure he will not disappoint us this week. So, Mr. Longwood, hit it again. artificial silver gold aluminum tree. I'm old school, love the smell of pine, so it's real in our house. Hey, there's Ransom Mayhem from Panama City. Roy Holler had to step off for a moment. But I'm hoping he's back. My grandmother on my mother's side would look forward to an orange in the stocking. When we were kids, we got oranges and nuts. I remember that quite often. We've already talked about the Christmas trees, not a thing here in America until the late 1700s, and Ken Smith wonders how old Roy is. Old enough to remember the 1700s, I would say. Let's see. Oh, Harker's part, his traditions come from a German family. So, see, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have several different backgrounds of traditions here. My dad and I would go up to the mountains and cut one themselves. Very good. Cut a tree, that is, right? I couldn't help it. I just had to say that. All right, let's see. Ransom Mayhem put a word in there, and I just don't understand what the word is. Hopefully he can repoint it. Where I lived when in college was near the woods. When Christmas came around, I told my roommates as they left for the weekend, when they got back, there would be a tree. I went into the woods. Hi. Yeah, it appears that Ransom Mayhem is having problems. He says it's his computer, but I bet it's his fingers. Let's see. Now, Zachary Harper says that he was armed with a meat cleaver. As he was coming out of the woods, campus security saw me and just kept going. Decorated it with paper ornaments and topped it with a monster can. I have Pirates Night Before book. We made a video of me dressed as Santa Claus reading it to the camera. I usually post it on Facebook about now. Ah, very good. Well, not to take any of your thunder, Mr. Ken Smith, we're going to try it ourselves here. We'll see what happens. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donnet, Blitzen, Rudolph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Absolutely right, Facebook user. I holler their names out every night. Let's see. There's everybody picking up the names for our contest. Very good. I'm so pleased to have Lauren McRae watching the show. Facebook user says, where's Kara? Well, she's maintaining a little bit of rest right now. Earl Saw, congratulations. Could not happen to a better pirate. Well, Jonathan Miller, I could argue that, but we'll just let it go at that. Who is the Facebook user in Panama City Beach? We're not sure yet, but we can find out after the show closes. Let's see. Yep, I remember that, Ransom. Mom always wanted to have tinsel on the tree, and she always put it on one strand at a time.
So did my dad.
It was a 2-day event. I got fruit, but always in the toe, there was a toe of the stocking, there was a piece of coal. Oh, there's Kara. Kara just popped in. Yep, he made that out of plywood. And there's Laura McRae saying she usually listens with Will the Historian, but now he's home. So, that reminds me now, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of things. We've looked at all of our comments. So, let's talk about what's on the horizon for us, Mr. Longwood. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight was supposed to be Bill Abbott, but he couldn't be here. Next week, Will the Historian, my very own son, who I'm very proud of, will be here, and a good portion of our conversation that night will be World War II and Pearl Harbor, because my son is also a history teacher in high school, for high school students. I got a confirmation for December 10th or 12th. That is the River Pirate, the Rum River Pirate. He is now secured, not tentative. Jean Vermes will be on December 19th. I have a particular connection with her, but she does music parody videos. but she also is the leader of, what's the name of the tap dance group? She has a tap dance group. And when I played Captain Hook in the ballet here in St. Augustine in 2016 and 17, her and her tap dancers were the pirate crew, and we tap danced and did jigs in the show. No ballet for this guy, and especially no tutu, because on me it would be a 4/4, but that's a different story. Special story episode on December 26th, as we talked about. Mr. John Stavely will be here on January 2nd, which it actually happens to be a historical date. It is the birthday of Henry Flagler. And John Stavely, as a tour guide, has also played the character of Henry Flagler, and will be here, and we will talk about Henry Flagler and the history of St. Augustine. January 9th is open. January 16th is Adam Morley. He's a longtime resident of St. Augustine. He has a marina and tackle shop over on Anastasia Island. It's been in the family for years. He's also the inventor of a game called Pop Quip, which we will be talking about here. And he just ran for a political office, and he will talk about his running of that political office. January 23rd is open right now. January 30th will be an after of Old City Pirate Fest, because that's the Monday after the weekend. We do have Troy Blevins in hold right now, trying to confirm a date with me. Maybe I can get him in on either January 9 or 23. Troy Blevins is part of the 904 Now group with Pete Melfi, and I'd like to get Pete Melfi on the show one of these nights too. And I also have a tentative email confirmation from Sheriff Hardwick of St. Johns County, who would also like to be on the show. So we're looking at having some really good conversations there. If you have some ideas on people that can be on the show, we'd love to have you on. If you have some ideas on what we can do with the show, we'd love to have you on. At least give us some ideas. That's our on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen, right there. Let's see what else we have. We'd like to do thank yous. It's come to that point of the show that we should. That was Dick's Wings last week, and that was a good event. I'd like to thank Dick's Wings for allowing us to use their restaurant. We had quite a bit there. As I said, we gave $1,000 to investing in kids. We gave $1,000 to St. Augustine Youth Services, and we gave $500 to the Humane Society, and still have about $2,900 in our kitty to use for some needy families. Without Dick's Wings, we couldn't have done it. And without the crew, I must say thank you to the crew. These are our sponsors this year for 2022. Ancient City Sirens, Dick's Wings, Paper and Strings, our good friends Adam and Christy over in Tampa, Shiver Me Pictures with Scarlett Deerheart, the Colonial Oak Music Park, and St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum. Those are our sponsors for 2022. We are starting to round up 2023. We are working on a sponsorship package that will include all kinds of extras, new things, new ideas. We'd love to have you be a sponsor of our show. If you can't be a sponsor of the show, we then ask you to go to Patreon, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's talk about our crew support. W. Mayhem Productions, St. Augustine Swashbucklers, William Mayhem himself, I, Davey Longwood, Hellfire Henley, and of course the Powder Monkey, who made a surprise appearance on the show about a week ago. Nope, 2 weeks ago. And we want to make sure that he comes back, but we still have to find some of the things he's already taken. So we need to make sure that the Powder Monkey is part of us. Here's our charities, ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned before, which we gave them all something this past week at our live broadcast. Inc., investing in kids here in St. Johns County. St. Augustine Youth Services, all about fostering children. Humane Society, which we love our fur babies, and of course our toy drive that is now in its 13th year of gathering toys and money for those in need at this time of year. And this is a tough year for a lot of people, ladies and gentlemen. I can see it in the donations and the involvement. So it's not just the people we help, it's the people that help us. Everybody is having a bit of a squeeze on their purse and pocketbook. On that note, our Patreon users and followers.
Oops.
That's all right. One oops is okay. Patreon. Oh, very good, Mr. Longwood. You changed it. Very good. So they can actually use that by putting their phone right up to the screen, right?
Yep.
Good. Go to Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. It'll take you right to our Patreon page. And you can be a supporter of Patreon or a supporter of the Captain's Quarters podcast through Patreon. We have 2 levels. Powder Monkey level is just $1 a month, or the First Mate level, which is actually $5 a month. We have 6 sponsors, and look at that, ladies and gentlemen, we're at 281 YouTube subscribers. Back in August, we were at about 250, and I swore that we would make it to 300 by the end of the year. We're 19 people off. So if you know somebody that likes what we do here, get them to subscribe. I'd like to be at 300 by the first of the year. It would be something to make us so proud, because we've only been at this now for 14 months. No, 16 months. So, ladies and gentlemen, join us. 281 is a good number, but I think 300 would be better. So join us there if you will. On that note, if you want to be a guest of the show, you want to be a sponsor of the show, or you just want to be a captain bragging about your crew somewhere else in the world, we'd love to have you. Oh, we should at least remind everybody, because we haven't done a whole lot of announcements of it, but this Captain's Quarters podcast has been accepted into the international pirate community. They have 14 or 15 other podcast and radio shows worldwide, not just the United States, Canada, England, France, Germany, and we are now part of that worldwide organization, the International Pirate Community. We were accepted 2 weeks ago, and we're very proud to be a part of that. We have some things that we'll be sharing with you, like a map of the world that you can, like Google Earth, can go and look at different things and find all the different pirates all over the world. They tell me they have 300,000 pirates listed across the world as part of the International Pirate Community, and we are now proud to be a part of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's something to brag about. If you want to be a part of us in any way, shape, or form, you want to help us, give us suggestions, be a part of the crew, we're open to just about anything. Anything at all that brings us together to have a good time every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that we can talk about history, or we can have a good time just having a good time. As you see, it's not always just history here, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about all kinds of things. Let's see. Cap, I've been having a couple times to email you at the podcast email address. Have you received them? My apologies, Mr. Smith. I usually don't catch those. I leave that up to Mr. Longwood and Mr. Henley, not throwing them under the bus, mind you. I have just been hugely busy. I have 58 more Santa Claus appearances this month, with the possibility of 20 more added to the list, plus all the scheduled tours in the museum. It's going to be, well, hey, we'll make sure that we start checking that email on a more regular basis, just in case. If you have problems reaching me through the podcast email, ladies and gentlemen, you can reach me through swashbucklersplunder@yahoo.com. That is our crew email, and you can catch me there. On that note, is there anybody else that has anything they would like to say? We also use Swashbuckler's Plunder as our PayPal connection. If you want to make a donation to the crew or to the show in any way, shape, or form, we have now PayPal and Venmo. And we'll be happy to start posting those along the way. But on that note, we've reached that time where we're just about ready to say good evening for the night. And Cinder reminds us that Night of Lights here in St. Augustine is in full swing. You're absolutely right. I was driving in it on Friday and Saturday night, and boy, are the people crazy trying to drive through here. It is amazing. But it is a lot of fun. St. Augustine is listed by the National Geographic as one of the 10 top cities in the United States to go visit during the holidays. So, if you have never been here before, come on down and say hello. And the Night of Lights goes all the way till the end of January. That's when I get to go downtown and enjoy them if I want, and wander about and have a rum here or there and say hello to my friends. So if you have nothing going on, come on down. We'd love to have you. Mr. Longwood, I believe I cut you off. What were you going to say?
Oh, you sent me a message earlier. I think this
Yes.
is.
I love the sights like twinkling lights and trees for cats to climb. This season's here for festive gear, it's ugly sweater time. Loud and tacky, weird and wacky, cheesy by design. No matter what you celebrate, it's ugly sweater time. Some are shiny, bright and flashy, others you could say are flashy. Some too sexy to resist, we just made the gaudy list. Stiff white shirts and formal skirts would truly be a crime. So don we now our Christmas kitsch, it's ugly sweater time. Ugly sweater time.
Henley, you look pretty good in the dress.
I looked good with my my abs too. Yeah, those were completely real.
That was hilarious. Very good, Davey. A nice way to end our show. If there's no other comments right now, ladies and gentlemen, here's to a great week for each and every one of you as you get closer and closer to Christmas. I hope that all of you have a good week and that the whole month of the holidays is great for you. Season's greetings, happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever else I might have missed. Feliz Navidad. We love you all. Thank you very much. We sign off now with our own phrase.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always, thank you very much. Cheers to you.